Now, I will say one thing that we're super blessed about at my carrier compared to, I know I've had friends who worked at Frontier, and I think this used to be the rule at United, is if you have a reserve line and your reserve line pays, let's say 80 trips or 80 hours for the month, is what I think it is. If you pick up other flying from other flight attendants or from the company, that does not go towards your reserve. Remember I talked about it as it's like a bucket? Well, at other carriers, I think for certain at Frontier, if you pick up extra, it just goes into that reserve bucket. So if they don't use you on your reserve blocks and you sit at home, that's awesome. But again, it's still filling that bucket. Whereas us, if you can't live on the 80 hours a month and you need to pick up more hours to make whatever that is for your budget, 100 hours or trips for pay, 120, you got to know your number. You can pick up additional flying from the company or from another flight attendant, and it is a separate bucket. So you have your reserve hours from your month and then anything in addition that you picked up from another flight attendant. This is so important, so important. I cannot stress this enough. If you are looking at flying for another carrier, please do your research about reserve and understand and make sure that your reserve hours don't get any additional you pick up from somebody else doesn't go into that bucket. I hope that makes sense, because I heard at Frontier, I had a friend who was there, that it was almost impossible to get above that 80-hour guarantee because they wouldn't use you, you'd pick up extra and it would just go into that bucket. So it's like you're working 100, 120 hours, but you're only getting paid the 80. I hope that made sense. So if you're looking at becoming a flight attendant, please make sure that their reserve bucket is separate from anything additional you pick up. Those are additional hours on top of that reserve bucket. I hope that makes sense.